The moment you stop chasing the world begins to lose its power over you, not because everything suddenly becomes easy, not because people finally understand you, not because every problem disappears, but because you are no longer giving your mind away to everything that demands your attention. Most people do not suffer because life is impossible. They suffer because their attention is divided in 100 directions. One part of them is worried about the past. Another part is afraid of the future. Another part is waiting for someone to reply. Another part is comparing their life with strangers on a screen. And while their energy is scattered everywhere, they wonder why they feel weak. They wonder why they cannot focus. They wonder why they cannot move forward. But a person cannot build a powerful life with a distracted mind. You may believe that the reason you feel stuck is because someone disappointed you, because an opportunity did not arrive, because people did not support you, because life has not rewarded your effort yet. But look more carefully. The deeper problem may not be what happened to you. The deeper problem may be how much of your mind you continue to give to what happened. You replay the conversation. You imagine what you should have said. You check whether they noticed your silence. You wonder whether they regret losing you. You wait for an apology that may never come. And while you are waiting for someone else to change, your own life remains untouched. This is where your power is lost. Not in the rejection, not in the disrespect, not in the failure. Your power is lost when you keep returning mentally to what you have already decided to leave physically. Silence is not simply the absence of words. True silence is the absence of inner chasing. It is when you no longer need to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. It is when you no longer need to announce every goal before you have built the discipline to achieve it. It is when you no longer need to react to every opinion, every message, every criticism, every moment of distance. A weak mind believes every disturbance requires a response. A disciplined mind understands that many things lose their power when they are not fed. Someone insults you and your ego immediately demands action. Someone ignores you and your insecurity demands an explanation. Someone leaves and your fear tells you to chase. Someone succeeds and your mind tells you that you are falling behind. But every demand inside your mind does not deserve obedience. A thought can appear without becoming your direction. An emotion can rise without becoming your decision. An urge can become intense without becoming your action. This is one of the first lessons of self-mastery. You are not required to follow every movement of your mind. You can observe it. You can question it. You can allow it to pass. Think about how your day begins. Before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches for the phone. You check messages. You check notifications. You check what other people are doing. You allow the outside world to enter your mind before you have even met yourself. Within minutes, your attention belongs to everyone except you. A stranger's success makes you question your progress. A message changes your mood. A headline creates anxiety. A video consumes the time you promised to use for your future. And then you say you have no discipline. But discipline does not disappear in one dramatic moment. It is traded away through small unconscious choices. 5 minutes of scrolling becomes 30. One delayed task becomes another broken promise. One emotional reaction becomes an entire day of mental noise. The mind becomes weak through repetition, but it also becomes strong through repetition. This means your life can begin to change through actions so small that no one else notices them. Wake up and delay the phone. Sit in silence before consuming information. Make your bed, drink water, move your body. Complete one meaningful task before entering the world of notifications. These actions may look ordinary, but they carry a deeper message. They tell your mind, I decide how this day begins. And when you begin deciding how your day starts, you slowly begin deciding how your life unfolds. Focusing on yourself does not mean becoming selfish. It means becoming responsible. It means understanding that you cannot continue blaming the world for a mind you refuse to train. You cannot ask for peace while feeding distraction. You cannot ask for confidence while repeatedly breaking promises to yourself. You cannot ask for clarity while filling every quiet moment with noise. You cannot ask for a strong life while choosing comfort every time discipline becomes inconvenient. Many people want change, but they do not want the silence required for change. Silence reveals too much. When the phone is gone, the excuses become louder. When the music stops, the unfinished work becomes visible. When the attention disappears, the loneliness appears. When nobody is praising you, you discover whether your effort was genuine or whether it depended on being seen. This is why many people avoid silence. They do not fear being alone. They fear meeting the parts of themselves they have been distracting themselves from. But what you avoid continues to control you. If you avoid boredom, you become addicted to stimulation. If you avoid discomfort, you become controlled by comfort. If you avoid loneliness, you begin accepting the wrong people just to feel accompanied. If you avoid failure, you remain trapped in preparation. If you avoid silence, you never learn the sound of your own direction. The solution is not to fight yourself with anger. The solution is to sit long enough to understand yourself. Watch your thoughts without immediately judging them. Notice what appears when there is nothing to distract you. Perhaps fear appears. Perhaps regret appears. Perhaps the desire to be validated appears. Perhaps you begin thinking about someone who walked away. Do not panic. Do not reach for the phone. Do not immediately act. Simply observe. A feeling that is observed begins to lose its authority. A feeling that is obeyed without awareness becomes a habit. You may feel the urge to send a message because someone became distant. Pause. Ask yourself what is truly moving your hand. Is it love? Or is it fear? Is it clarity? Or is it the discomfort of not being chosen? And is the message necessary? Or are you trying to escape the feeling of uncertainty? Most regretted actions are not created by a lack of intelligence. They are created by a lack of pause. The space between emotion and action is where character is formed. When you learn to create that space, you stop becoming a prisoner of temporary feelings. Someone can disrespect you, and you can remain aware. Someone can misunderstand you, and you can remain steady. Someone can leave, and you can remain whole. This does not mean you feel nothing. It means you no longer allow every feeling to take command. Real strength is quiet because it does not need to prove itself in every moment. A calm person is not always calm because life has been kind. Sometimes they are calm because life has taught them what emotional reaction costs. They have learned that not every battle produces growth. They have learned that defending themselves to everyone drains energy needed for their own purpose. They have learned that some people only understand your value after they can no longer access you. And they have learned that silence can protect what explanation keeps exposing. You do not need to make people regret losing you. You need to stop losing yourself while trying to be understood by them. This is where focusing on yourself becomes sacred. You begin to gather your energy, the energy you spent checking their profile, the energy you spent imagining conversations, the energy you spent comparing timelines, the energy you spent proving your worth. You bring it back. You place it into your health. You place it into your work. You place it into your discipline. And you place it into your faith. You place it into the quiet construction of a life that does not depend on anyone's approval. At first, this may feel empty. When you stop chasing attention, there is a silence where attention used to be. When you stop checking for messages, there is a space where anticipation used to live. When you stop explaining yourself, there is a discomfort where validation once stood. Do not mistake this emptiness for failure. It is room for clarity, room for strength, room for a new identity. The old version of you may have been built around reaction. This person upset me, so I became angry. This person ignored me, so I felt worthless. This person praised me, so I felt confident. This opportunity failed, so I stopped believing. But when your emotional state depends on circumstances, the world becomes your master. You rise when people approve of you. You collapse when they withdraw. You work when motivation visits. You quit when progress becomes slow. You feel powerful when you are noticed. You feel invisible when the room becomes quiet. This is not freedom. Freedom begins when your direction no longer changes every time your emotions do. You decide what kind of person you are. Then you behave according to that decision. You do not ask, do I feel like training today? You ask, what does the person I am becoming do today? You do not ask, will anyone notice my effort? You ask, does this action strengthen or weaken me? You do not ask, when will I finally feel motivated? You ask, what can I complete before motivation arrives? This is how discipline becomes personal. It is no longer punishment. It becomes self-respect expressed through action. Every promise you keep to yourself becomes evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that discomfort does not control you. Evidence that your future matters more than temporary ease. Confidence is not created by repeating powerful words while continuing weak habits. Confidence is created when your actions begin agreeing with your intentions. You say you will wake up earlier, and you do. You say you will exercise, and you do. You say you will stop contacting someone who repeatedly disrespects you, and you remain silent. You say you will finish the task, and you stay with it after the excitement disappears. Each completed promise repairs the relationship between you and yourself. Each broken promise teaches the mind that your words have no weight. This is why small discipline matters. Do not begin by demanding perfection. Choose one promise that is small enough to keep and important enough to matter. Perhaps you walk for 20 minutes. Perhaps you work for 30 minutes without touching the phone. Perhaps you sit in silence for 10 minutes. Perhaps you stop replying immediately when you are emotionally activated. Perhaps you go to sleep when you said you would. Keep that promise, then keep it again. A strong identity is built through repeated evidence, not dramatic declarations. You do not become focused by calling yourself focused. You become focused by returning to the task every time distraction invites you away. You do not become peaceful by avoiding all difficulty. You become peaceful by learning that difficulty does not have to control your inner state. You do not become disciplined in one perfect morning. You become disciplined in the ordinary moments when nobody is watching and comfort offers you an easier choice. This is the hidden work. It does not receive applause. It does not look impressive online. It may feel slow, but slow progress is not meaningless progress. A seed does not become weak because it develops underground. Much of your most important growth will happen where no one can see it. This is why silence is powerful. Silence protects unfinished transformation. When you speak too much about what you are going to do, the mind can receive the emotional reward before the work is complete. You feel productive because people know your plan. You feel important because others admire the vision. But the result has not been earned. Let your actions become louder than your announcements. Train quietly. Learn quietly. Heal quietly. Build quietly. Do not make every change a performance. A life built for appearance becomes exhausting. A life built on truth becomes stable. There is freedom in no longer needing people to witness every step. Some days you will feel forgotten. Some days your progress will seem invisible. Some days you will wonder whether silence is working. Understand this. Silence is not a trick to make other people chase you. Silence is a discipline that allows you to stop chasing yourself away from your own life. If someone returns, let their actions speak. If they do not return, let the lesson remain. But do not turn your healing into a strategy for controlling another person. The moment your silence is only designed to create a reaction, you are still controlled by their attention. True silence expects nothing. It does not wait beside the phone. It does not count the days. It does not post messages hoping someone understands the hidden meaning. True silence turns inward. It asks, what must I strengthen now? It asks, what did this experience reveal about me? It asks, why was I willing to abandon my peace for temporary connection? These questions are uncomfortable, but they create maturity. The purpose of hardship is not always to punish you. Sometimes hardship reveals where your foundation is weak. Rejection may reveal how deeply you depended on approval. Failure may reveal whether your discipline existed only when results came quickly. Loneliness may reveal how little time you have spent building a relationship with yourself. Criticism may reveal how much authority you gave to other people's opinions. Do not waste pain by only asking why it happened. Ask what it is training you to become. Pain becomes useful when it produces awareness. Failure becomes useful when it produces correction. And silence becomes useful when it produces direction. But without reflection, the same lesson returns wearing a different face. You may leave one unhealthy relationship and enter another. You may change jobs but carry the same undisciplined habits. You may delete one application but find another distraction. You may promise a fresh start while protecting the same excuses. Changing your environment can help, but changing your environment without changing your mind only moves the same struggle to a new location. This is why responsibility matters. Responsibility is not self-blame. It is the refusal to surrender your power. Blame says, because of them, I cannot move forward. Responsibility says, what happened affected me, but it will not decide the rest of my life. Blame waits. Responsibility acts. Blame searches for justice before healing. Responsibility begins healing even when justice never arrives. There may be things you did not deserve. There may be wounds you did not create. There may be losses you could not prevent, but your next action still belongs to you. This is not always fair, but it is powerful. You become dangerous to your old patterns when you stop waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect apology, the perfect opportunity, the perfect version of yourself. You work with what is available. You begin where you are. You make one honest decision, then another. You remove one distraction. You complete one task. You choose one difficult truth over one comfortable lie. And slowly, your life begins to move, not because everything fell into place on its own, but because you stopped standing in the way of your own progress. Many people say they want focus, but they continue protecting the things that destroy it. They keep every notification active. They remain available to everyone. They consume information from the moment they wake until the moment they sleep. They allow people to interrupt their goals without boundaries. Then they wonder why their mind feels exhausted. Attention is a limited resource. Every unnecessary argument consumes it. Every hour of comparison consumes it. Every unresolved emotional attachment consumes it. Every attempt to impress people consumes it. When your attention is constantly leaking, even simple tasks feel heavy. Protecting your focus requires removing access. Not everyone needs immediate access to you. Not every message needs an instant reply. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every opinion deserves consideration. Not every thought deserves investigation. Your peace needs boundaries. Without boundaries, kindness becomes exhaustion. Without boundaries, availability becomes self-abandonment. Without boundaries, empathy becomes carrying responsibilities that were never yours. You can care without losing yourself. You can love without chasing. You can listen without absorbing every emotion. You can forgive without reopening the door. You can be peaceful without becoming passive. Silence is not weakness when it is chosen with awareness. Walking away is not cowardice when staying requires betraying yourself. Saying no is not cruelty when yes would destroy your stability. A disciplined life requires subtraction. Sometimes the next level is not created by adding more. It is created by removing what keeps dividing you. Remove the habit of checking who viewed your story. Remove the conversation that always leaves you drained. Remove the belief that everyone must understand your choices. Remove the need to respond while angry. Remove the morning routine that begins with everyone else's priorities. Remove the excuse that you must feel ready. Clarity often arrives after unnecessary noise is removed. When the water is disturbed, the reflection becomes unclear. You do not create clarity by touching the water more aggressively. You allow it to become still. Your mind works in the same way. When you are angry, afraid, rejected, or overwhelmed, you often want immediate answers. You want to decide now. You want to speak now. You want to fix everything now. But decisions made in emotional storms often create consequences that remain after the storm has passed. Learn to wait. Take a walk. Breathe slowly. Train your body. Write what you feel without sending it. Sleep before making a permanent decision based on a temporary state. Patience is not inactivity. Sometimes patience is the most intelligent action available. A person who can wait until the mind becomes clear has already defeated many of life's unnecessary problems. You will still experience emotion. There will be days when the old habits call you back. You will want to check. You will want to explain. You will want to quit. You will want to choose comfort. Do not interpret the return of an urge as the failure of your growth. Growth is revealed in what you do when the urge returns. The old pattern may speak. You simply do not have to obey. This is where awareness becomes strength. You notice the impulse, you name it, you breathe. You choose differently. The victory may last only 1 minute, but 1 minute of conscious action is greater than an hour of unconscious reaction. Every time you choose awareness, the old pattern becomes weaker. Every time you choose discipline, your identity becomes clearer. Every time you protect your peace, your inner world becomes less dependent on external conditions. This is not instant transformation. It is training. And training is often repetitive. You do not strengthen the body with one workout. You do not strengthen attention with one morning of focus. You do not strengthen character with one difficult decision. You repeat. You return. You begin again. The person who repeatedly begins again becomes stronger than the person who waits to begin perfectly. Perfection is often another form of delay. You tell yourself you will start when the plan is complete, when the timing is right, when you feel more confident, when life becomes quieter. But life may not become quieter. You must become clearer inside the noise. Do not wait for a life without difficulty. Build a mind that can move through difficulty without losing direction. This is why strengthening the body matters. The body teaches lessons the mind likes to avoid. When you exercise, discomfort appears. The mind asks you to stop. The body becomes tired. The excuse becomes convincing. But when you continue with wisdom, not recklessness, you learn something important. Discomfort can be present without becoming the leader. The same lesson applies everywhere. You can feel nervous and still speak. You can feel lonely and still avoid returning to what harmed you. You can feel unmotivated and still complete the task. You can feel uncertain and still take the next responsible step. Courage is not the removal of fear. It is movement without surrendering authority to fear. Your feelings deserve attention, but they do not deserve complete control. Listen to them. Learn from them. But do not build your future around their temporary demands. Some mornings you will feel powerful. Some mornings you will feel heavy. Your discipline must learn to work with both. When you only act on good days, your life remains controlled by conditions. When you learn to act on difficult days, you become reliable, and reliability creates peace. You no longer wonder whether you will abandon yourself again. And you know that even if the day is imperfect, you will still do something meaningful. Perhaps not everything, but something. This is how momentum is created, not through constant intensity. Through consistent return, focus on the next action, not the entire year, not the entire journey, not every obstacle waiting ahead. The mind becomes overwhelmed when it tries to carry tomorrow before finishing today. Return to what is in front of you. One page, one workout, one conversation, 1 hour without distraction. One decision not to react. A mountain is crossed through repeated steps, not through staring at the distance. You may be comparing your beginning with someone else's middle. You see their results, but not their hidden years. You see the confidence, but not the failures that shaped it. You see the opportunity, but not the preparation. Comparison turns another person's path into evidence against your own. Stop using someone else's timing to insult your progress. Their life is not your measurement. The only useful comparison is between your present actions and your deeper potential. Ask yourself honestly, am I becoming more disciplined than I was? Am I reacting less? Am I keeping more promises? Am I protecting my attention? Am I moving toward what matters? These are the questions that build a meaningful life. Not, do they miss me? Not, are they watching me? Not, am I ahead of everyone? The goal is not to be ahead. The goal is to be aligned with your values, aligned with your responsibilities, aligned with the person you know you can become. When alignment grows, many things begin falling into place. Your mind becomes quieter because your actions are no longer fighting your intentions. Your relationships become clearer because you stop begging for connection. Your work improves because your attention is no longer scattered. Your confidence grows because you can trust your word. Your peace deepens because you stop trying to control what was never yours to control. This does not mean life becomes perfect. It means your inner foundation becomes stronger. Storms still come, but not every storm enters the house. People still misunderstand you, but not every misunderstanding becomes your identity. Opportunities still fail, but not every failure becomes a reason to stop. You begin to understand that peace is not a place where nothing difficult happens. Peace is the ability to remain connected to yourself while difficulty is happening. This ability is built daily. In the pause before replying, in the decision to put the phone down, in the choice to complete the task, in the willingness to sit with discomfort, in the discipline to stay silent when your ego wants the final word, in the courage to walk away from what repeatedly disturbs your spirit. These moments may appear small, but your life is made of small moments. Your character is not only revealed in major decisions, it is shaped in the ordinary seconds when nobody would blame you for choosing weakness. Yet you choose strength. You do not need to change everything tonight, but you must stop lying to yourself about what needs to change. You know which habit is weakening you. You know which connection keeps you emotionally unstable. You know which task you keep avoiding. You know which promise you keep postponing. You know how much time is disappearing into distraction. You do not need more information before taking the first step. You need honesty, then action. When this video ends, do not immediately search for another message to make you feel motivated. Sit in silence. Ask yourself one question. What is one action I can take today that the stronger version of me would respect? Then do it before your mind begins negotiating. Put the phone away. Finish the work. Train your body. Clean your space. Write the plan. End the conversation. Keep the promise. Let your next action become evidence that you are no longer waiting to be rescued. Your life does not need another emotional declaration. It needs a disciplined decision. Peace is trained. Focus is trained. Confidence is trained. Self-control is trained. None of these are gifts given only to special people. They are abilities built by those willing to practice them when nobody is watching. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when you react badly. There will be days when distraction wins. And do not turn one weak moment into a weak identity. Correct yourself, return, continue. A disciplined person is not someone who never falls out of alignment. It is someone who notices sooner and returns faster. And your progress does not disappear because you had a difficult day, but it will disappear if you use that difficult day as permission to abandon yourself. Be patient with your growth, but strict with your excuses. Speak to yourself with compassion, but do not protect the habits that keep you small. Forgive yourself, then change the behavior. Rest when necessary, but do not make rest a hiding place. Move slowly if you must, but continue moving. The world may not notice at first. People may continue treating you according to the person you used to be. Do not become angry. Remain consistent. Over time, your boundaries will speak. Your discipline will speak. Your silence will speak. Your results will speak. You do not need to force people to recognize your transformation. The strongest changes do not beg to be believed. They become undeniable. Focus on yourself, not because you are better than others, not because you no longer care, but because your life is your responsibility. Your mind is your responsibility. Your habits are your responsibility. Your peace is your responsibility. And when you accept this responsibility, you stop waiting for the world to arrange itself before you begin living with purpose. Stay silent. Not because you have nothing to say, but because your energy is too valuable to spend on every misunderstanding. Stay silent while you build. Stay silent while you heal. Stay silent while you learn. Stay silent when your ego wants applause. Stay silent when anger asks for destruction. Let silence become the space in which your new life is formed. For more messages about discipline, wisdom, focus, and inner strength, subscribe and continue walking this path with intention. But do not let subscribing become the action you take instead of changing. The real lesson begins when the screen becomes quiet. The real lesson begins when nobody is speaking to you. The real lesson begins when you are alone with the next decision. Choose carefully, because every decision teaches your mind who is in control. When you stop chasing attention, you recover your energy. When you stop explaining, you recover your peace. When you stop waiting for motivation, you recover your direction. And when you focus fully on becoming the person you know you must become, life may not fall into place all at once, but you finally become strong enough to place each part where it belongs.